everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. They have 11 picks. They have literally an entire roster. Brock Purdy, by the time of the recording, just got his money. He got his money. So, let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. They got 11 picks. It's going to be a long video. Let's go. Before we get to the 11 new players of the 49ers, let's get down to the big one. By the time of this recording, Brock Purdy literally just signed his, got a 5-year, $265 million deal. What do honestly I think about it? The guy led you to an NFC Championship game twice. The guy led to a Super Bowl. He was probably the cheapest quarterback to get a new contract in probably NFL history because he wasn't a first-round pick. He was the last pick. And there was a part of me thinking, it'll be really stupid if you got not to give him money. It'd be really stupid because if he somehow wins a Super Bowl within those next 5 years, then you can say it was worth it. I mean, no one's either going to sit up here and say he ain't worth the money or not worth getting paid. But there's a part of me thinking, is he going to get the Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield deal? Probably not. He's going to get the Dak Prescott deal? Probably not. But in a weird way, you feel like, which one is it? Is it the Geno Baker Mayfield contracts? Or is it like the Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott money? Which one is it? And in a weird way, I don't know really the right answer to that one. I'm just kind of glad where it's like, okay, he signed. Now we can focus on these 11 players. So let's go to it. And with 11 players, in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft and the 11th overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers selected Malik Williams, edge, Georgia. This was a player that I really thought he was going to be picked up by the Cardinals. The Panthers, or the Falcons. It was him and it was the two Bulldogs. There were two Bulldogs in Georgia, and a lot of people thought they both were going to go to the NFC South. Funny enough, only one did. But I was really surprised the Niners actually went pass rusher. Not because I think they had less worried about Bosa. I think they were like, we don't want Bosa to break down because he has to be the only guy really sacking quarterbacks. But also, it's kind of like, the guy's right there. He's right there. I mean, why not? And I'm going to say this because a Buccaneer fan, John Lynch is the GM. I kind of feel a little bit like John Lynch probably knows almost firsthand what it's like to have a good, solid defense when it comes to winning championships and winning games in the playoffs. So to me, this kind of feel like maybe a little sprinkle of John Lynch in there to say maybe we need to go defense. And I'm going to say right now, I think it's because Williams was right there. They're thinking, he is right there. He is right there. I mean, for the 49er fans out there, very quickly, and you can tell me mentally, telepathically, you don't have to put in the comments, you don't want to. Were you surprised by, one, Williams being there, and two, the Niners taking him? I don't know. I kind of feel mixed on it because I really thought they probably would have gone secondary, maybe, with a lot of the players left. But getting a number 2 guy to Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, sorry, wrong Bosa, don't hate me, wrong Bosa. So to me, it's surprised that he's there a little bit more than the Niners picking him up, if that makes sense. Then we go to the second round with the 43rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers selected Alfred Collins, defensive tackle, Texas. Okay, so we are doubling up on that line. And I feel like a lot of this is because the defense of San Francisco was, in my humble opinion, the real big cornerstone of the Niners' success in the playoffs and when they went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and, of course, lost again. But this one, to me, feels more of the case of let's get younger to go with our veterans, so therefore there's not a chance that in case there's a drop-off because of injuries and because of level of top competition or we don't have any good resource for number 2, number 3s, we can develop it. The Niners do run a 4-3 defense, and according to this, Alfred is not viewed as the starting right tackle, defensive tackle, which is not surprising. We all knew that. We all knew he was there probably as a rotational player at best. Even though I do believe that Texas defensive line was a big part of their playoff run, and of course the offensive line, but definitely with their defensive line. So seeing Alfred Collins, a player that I think a lot of people thought he probably could have been a late first round pick, being picked at 43, kind of made it feel. I always believe, because there's 32 picks in the first round, for those of us we don't know about football, if you get picked before 50, I can see an argument to say they probably could have been a first round pick, but X, Y, and Z factors probably did not. I believe if you're picked in the first 50, you are basically first round grade. And the only reason why you didn't get picked up is because the team that did pick you up probably did not need a corner right away, did not need a defensive tackle right away, or had other needs pressing. But I believe if you're picked in the top 50, you are a first round grade, but circumstances push you down to that part. That's just my thoughts. Some will say 60, I say 50. Because then I feel like there's some player that'd be like, well, they're supposed to be a high number 2 round, second round anyway. So, but that's where I feel like. And quick question, looking over to see where they're going to put Williams on the 49ers. Guys, this is kind of funny. I'm looking at the 49ers draft, and oh, there he is. Whew. For a brief second, I was like, where is Williams? I'm like, oh, look, he's right there, the starting left defensive end. So he's definitely going to be a tandem with Bosa. So there you go. You got 2 starting defensive caliber players that probably will get starting time in the regular season. Just, let's see how they do in preseason to get themselves that, mindset for the defense. And funny enough, the Niners went defense a lot early in this round, going to the 3rd round. And with the 75th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Nick Martin, linebacker, Oklahoma State. Okay, I can't help but feel like Fred Warner is probably the do-it-all linebacker. He was my MVP for the Niners last year because he did it all, even though he probably did it with less support than he probably expected, but he did do it all, best he can. And I feel like, with the Greenlaw and everything like that, they just felt like we don't need a new linebacker, but we kind of want to just, invest in a potential investment in Nick Martin. And Nick Martin is already being viewed as the weak side linebacker. So the Niners have basically gone 3 defensive players that all basically are projected as starters. And I can't help feel like how much of it is a need to replace and how much is that this guy is so talented and he fits well into our scheme that this is the guy to go. Williams and Bosa is to sack quarterbacks, while Givens and Elliott and West and Collins are there to stop the interior run because they're in the NFC West. And the West do have a lot of good running backs that like to run in the middle. And then the linebackers are there as for coverage on the tight end, but there's a lot of good tight ends in the NFC West and in the NFC. So probably looking for more for a zone covered. I feel like Fred Warner is clearly meant for the covered guy, while they're probably looking at Nick Martin more as the run guy, as a run support guy, covering the flat type of guy. But Warner is definitely the cover linebacker for the tight ends in the middle of the field, while Nick Martin is probably meant for run support. Your job is to either spy quarterbacks or to run support when it comes to it, so therefore we don't keep those running backs from running down our defense all the way down the field. So Martin is probably a run supporter for the 49ers with occasional coverage on the flats. So 25 picks later, still in the 3rd round, with the 100th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Upton Stout, corner, Western Kentucky. Now, this is a stigma that we all have to accept. And by all, I mean everyone that does what I do in that we overanalyze football draft pick reviews. Or we just do it when it comes to conversation with our friends at the bar and the water cooler. How much do we consider the intangibles, height, weight, speed, statistical physicalities, and then we take that and we add it to universities, where they went to, because then we add to level of competition. If we take a corner that's, 6'3", 215, but he played at Air Force, no disrespect to Air Force, just trying to make a point here, versus a guy with the same intangibles, but he played at Alabama. I am not saying that they're not considered that, but that's something that I always feel like is always a conversation that you kind of have to acknowledge, even if it's like 2% of your overall, evaluation. Level of competition does come into effect. Western Kentucky, no disrespect, is different than Kentucky. But Western Kentucky Hilltopper is still a good program, so let's not criticize it too harshly, but I can't help but feel like that sometimes some players and general managers and evaluations go, But I feel like in today's football, it's so much more of other things than just intangibles and university reputation. Sometimes I feel it's a little bit of other things. Money. Anyway, so looking into that, they have currently Stout viewed as the nickelback department. So it looks like they're going to be using as an intangible versatile behind Demondor Lenore is viewed as the current starting nickelback, but nickelback is always interchangeable, and that gives him a chance to be versatile. And when you come to nickelback, it kind of makes you feel like you're not fully a safety, you're not fully a corner, so therefore you have intangibles. And maybe that was the reason why they picked him up, is that he's not one way or the other. He's kind of a mix in between, and therefore we can probably experiment with him. And then over time, maybe he develops into a better corner inside, or maybe becomes a better corner as an outside corner, or maybe he's better as a safety. We don't know. But for right now, nickelback formation kind of fits well for him. And for someone like John Lynch, who's familiar with the nickelback, yeah, go with that. Go with that. Go with the intangibles. Sometimes I feel like a lot of players, if you're a Swiss Army knife, I feel like today's NFL is more accepting of a Swiss Army knife type player versus the player that's just like, I'm strictly a left side defensive end player, blah, 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 blah. I think we're more open to Swiss Army knives. Maybe not a first round pick level support, but maybe more of a, yeah, we can see what we can do. Plus, it opens more opportunities for playing time in situations. So, I take that as a positive. I was a Swiss Army knife. A very dull Swiss Army knife, mind you. I was mainly a short yardage situation goal line guy. But I was clearly a Swiss Army knife. Just like I said, a very dull Swiss Army knife. Then we go to the fourth round with the 113th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers selected C.J. West, defensive tackle, Indiana. Indiana had a wonderful year until they played Notre Dame in the playoffs, and quite frankly, we all discussed them because, God forbid, they were in the playoffs. Blah, 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 blah. Not dealing with that argument. We support underdogs here. We support underdogs. But another interior defensive tackle, I can't help but feel like they're doubling up on defensive tackles. Like I said, the Niners is rebuilding this defense with veteran players still on the roster and young players to get in rotation almost right away. They currently have C.J. West as the backup to the left defensive tackle behind Kevin Givens. So they have literally got two potential starting defensive tackles already projected to be at least a backup according to the ESPN mock draft roster as backups. So to me, that just means rotation, reps, and potential, God forbid, injuries in the regular season, potential could be viewed as the guy in the season when the season comes down to crunch time. Those division matchups, those conference games where it could determine playoff positioning. These guys will be stepped in a lot faster than they need to. And this guy is a fourth round pick, which I feel like in today's NFL, a fourth round pick just basically means you are probably a starter, just maybe not yet. And not yet could be as early as week 10, not yet. Not 2 years later, not yet. So for all knows, CJ could be coming in and getting rotation very early. Plus, he's teamed up with the young defensive tackle. Both these guys helped make their team get into the playoffs last year in the college football playoffs. So maybe that type of, mindset of this guy knows like to me to be on a team that wins games, to go to compete in the highest level, and he makes noise. So to me, CJ West could be just another something that just need to be polished out, making something look shiny. So CJ, you're a 49er, and quite frankly, that's probably the best defense to go to in this NFL at a late round pick. So I think he's saying, I won. Still in the fourth round, with the 138th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jordan Watkins, wide receiver, Ole Miss, Mississippi, you do you. Jordan, wide receiver. We all remember the Niners basically got... The Niners must have pissed off a very dark leprechaun or something, because their offensive weapons got like hit with the worst injuries known to man. One got shot, but McCaffrey, Achilles, Brandon Ayuk got paid, then his Achilles. The rookie got shot. Thank goodness he didn't die, and so he didn't really get a full rookie season development that he probably should have gotten. So therefore, he's kind of still very rookie fresh, because he didn't really get to play a full 10-week season plus. So we'll see. And then looking at them right now, I mean, Juwan Jennings might be the only receiving threat that we all can say that's the guy. Of course, you got George Kittle and Kyle, but I'm talking about wide receivers here. So I'm not gonna be position-est here. I'm just saying wide receiver, tight ends are two different things. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just saying that for strictly wide receiver, and of course, Debo's gone, guys. We keep forgetting sometimes. Debo was not here. He's gone. So, of course, and looking at the wide receiver, they have a full, like 12 players that are viewed as wide receivers in the mock depth chart. So there's a lot of them are players that played on other teams that are probably trying to get their careers back on track. And with Brandon Ayuk's injury, I mean, I know I trust sports medicine to take it a lot further than they used to be, but man, there's a lot of wide receivers. Chris Godwin in Tampa Bay is another one where you just can't help but feel like, okay, how quickly can Brandon Ayuk get back to at least 85 to 90%, where he's that same type of reliable, the guy that you just gave money to, which is kind of like the biggest, like, what the hell? You give the guy, the receiver, the money that he deserves, that he rightfully deserves, and then he gets an injury that's not like a turf toe. He is ACL dislocation gone type injury, and you're like, well, now we can't even get the first year investment on that new deal because he's gone. So that's what I always feel like is always kind of scary when you pay quality receivers the money they deserve, and then God forbid a devastating year-long out injury just goes, well, that's 1 year we're not going to get back after we give him a new deal. So that's how I feel. But going back to Jordan, he's joining a wide receiver core that's basically saying we're open for business, and there's a lot of spots open. So come make your mark. And he is viewed currently as the backup to Ricky. So he's already projected to be in the second round rotational side. So we'll see how quickly he gets involved. And honestly, not bad. Purdy got paid, so he probably want to give the money to his receivers by throwing the ball more. Then we go to the 5th round. With the 147th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Jordan James, running back, Oregon. Okay. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this one. This one I feel like it could be something spontaneously powerful. We all know that Christian McCaffrey is the guy. Mason did his thing, but Mason's gone. And of course, Garado did his thing too. And James is currently being viewed as a third string guy in the quarterback. So the question becomes Christian McCaffrey's health. And honestly, even if Christian McCaffrey was 100% healthy, Christian McCaffrey's used a lot as a receiver and a runner. So I think the Niners want a good running back by committee for either situational or just to take the pressure off so McCaffrey gets some rest, whether in series or during the game. So this to me feels more of a, yes, you are a 5th round pick, 147, but the way they use McCaffrey, he will take some breathers, he will take some rest. So do not just realize, well, I'm a 3rd string, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm barely gonna utilize. No, my friend. You might be utilized a lot faster than you think. And you were on an offensive scheme that was phenomenal. So, and it kind of really feels, Oregon to me feels kind of like what Kyle Shanahan really want the Niners to be, especially when especially during the Bo Nix time. I think he really wanted the Niners to be kind of like that Oregon style, where it's like run and shoot, and with McCaffrey in there, it just kind of felt like, yeah, you really wanted that type of offense to score like 40 points a game, and your defense is already solid. So a lot of it was just, make sure everyone stay healthy and don't overwork players. I think Jordan is coming into the 49ers team with a lot of question marks on McCaffrey's health, but even 100%, Jordan might get some playing times as, to basically give the backups and McCaffrey rest and reps. So to me, Jordan comes in there not so much as, I guess, I ride the bench. Like, no. You might get some playing times, within the first 4 weeks of the regular season if you make the roster. That's what I'm saying. So do your job, because we all know McCaffrey's probably not going to play much in preseason. So there's an opportunity for you to make your name to the point where it's like, we can't let go of Jordan. Look how well he did in preseason. He's definitely a changeable we need for our team. So I think there's more opportunities for you to make the roster and get some regular season reps than probably most running backs of a caliber team like the 49ers, when they are literally viewed as Super Bowl contenders every single season. So we go to, still in the 5th round, with the 160th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers selected Marquez Siegel, safety, Kansas State. Right? Kansas State, right? Yes, Kansas State. Sorry, I put KSU, and I'm hoping I didn't misuse that. So, another safety, I can help, but feel like this is more of a, the secondary of the 49ers kind of got depleted with injuries last year, and some of their core players are, said bye-bye. So I feel like the Niners, it's kind of like the same thing that the Chiefs go through from time to time, where sometimes they get the young rookie player that they drafted from college, their rookie deal comes up, and they kind of get to the point of being too expensive to keep. Snead was very highly viewed, and they trade him to the Titans. So sometimes that happened. Ward was another one. They traded him away. So sometimes it's because one of those situations where, Matthews was also a Chief, and they let him go, and they got Reed. So Marcus Edwards. Sometimes it's getting young players, get themselves involved, and hopefully their rookie season they make enough impact, win a couple of championships, win a couple of games, and either they become the starter over time to replace the veteran that are in their late 20s, early 30s, or they get to the conversation of, he's too valuable to keep, but at least he can go somewhere else and succeed, I guess. Could this happen to Marquez? Possibly. But he's on a good defensive squad team that I feel like a lot of these young players could get some playing time. And hopefully not because of injury, but because of just repetition and reps. He is currently viewed as the backup free safety behind Pickett and Brown. So probably get his opportunities in special teams, make himself reps, probably get a lot of playing time in the preseason. So make some noise there, make the roster spot, and then develop from there. You're on a good 49er defensive-minded team, so take advantage of it. So to me, this is just a development player with intangibles to work with. And okay, this is interesting. We go to the 7th round, and they got 3 picks. We're toward the end of this 11 pick journey together. In the 7th round, with the 227th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Curtis Rourke, quarterback, Indiana. Yeah, take a breather. 1, my throat is getting dry. And 2, I kind of want all to sink in that the 49ers got another quarterback. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that, like I said earlier, they just signed Brock Purdy like 3 days ago before I started this recording. So it's always that feeling of, okay, so you got a new quarterback, cool, because you got Mac Jones as your backup. Why Curtis? There are some teams that you just feel like your starting quarterback is not even in his 30s yet, so okay. And then the backup quarterback is like, either they're not old or like he's a good number 2. So it comes a question of why this quarterback? Now, for all I know, this probably was an investment in case the Brock Purdy thing goes south fast. Could be, possibly, but if there's any Indiana fans out there that watch this channel, by the way, hi, how you doing? How do you guys feel about this pick? I mean, we all know that Michael Penix Jr. was Indiana, and then he went to Washington, and he became a much highly viewed player and probably more reviewed, even though he was Indiana started. And who knows what he could have done if he stayed in Indiana? I don't know. Could he have helped them win a playoff game against Notre Dame? I don't know. It's more of a team thing. So I don't know about this pick, guys. Not just because it's a quarterback on a team that I kind of felt like they have a good 1-2 already, that they could win a game with those players. It just feels like you have 11 picks. Why on a quarterback? And I can understand emergency quarterbacks, but still, I don't know. When it comes to quarterbacks on a team that already has a good 1-2, it just feels weird. I don't know. This pick feels a little bit like, hey, you're on the 49ers. Worst case scenario, you win a Super Bowl as a third stringer. Hey, it happened to the Buccaneers with Gabbard and Ryan Griffin. So there you go. They won a ring and had 3 quarterbacks thing, so they got rings. Congrats. I don't know, guys. This one feels a little bit like, was it because Brock Purdy wasn't signed to a new deal yet, and this was kind of like, if we have to go in with Mac Jones, we need Mac Jones backup? Does that mean he'll make the roster? I don't know. I think today's NFL, you probably need 3 good quarterbacks to win games, especially if your starter goes down because you want to back up to your backup. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. This one feels a little bit like, make it make sense enough to be like, okay, I see it. Still in the 7th round with the 249th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Connor Colby, offensive guard, Iowa. Let's be real, Iowa has not been known for a quarterback since Brad Banks back when he was a Heisman Trophy candidate back in the day. For those who know who Banks was in Iowa, thank you very much. There are geniuses among us. For those who don't know, don't worry about it. That just more dictates why Iowa's offense is not known by a quarterback, but known by everyone else. So this feels because Iowa's successful offense was running the ball. So I can't help but feel like he was picked up to help run the ball. And they currently have Connor viewed currently as the left guard, third stringer, but that could be always interchanged in time. But this feels like Connor is designed to be a runner, a running offensive line style of offense. Interior inside, in between the tackles, in between the guard, the 1-2 gap. This feels strictly for run support, running the ball down people's throats in the middle side. So, because Iowa's offense was mainly known for that than anything else in the offense of the past decade, this feels like kind of know what his specialty is. And then with the last pick, with the 252nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers selected Junior Burgeon, wide receiver, Montana. No disrespect to the small schools of Montana and others, but it always feels kind of nice to be like, dude, you got drafted in the NFL from a small school. That is an accomplishment among accomplishments. And like I said before about another one wide receiver in Watkins, the wide receiver room is quite open because of Brandon Ayuk's injuries. Ricky is still in that rookie, feeling, so he didn't even play a full season. And Juwan Jennings is the really only real wide receiver in there. So to me, wide receiver spots are up for grabs, and you are currently being viewed. All right, you're currently viewed as a 4th stringer, but that's just because you're rookie and you're from Montana, you're a 7th round pick. But if you there's still plenty of spots to make for this roster spot, especially if Brandon Ayuk's injury takes him a little bit longer to get into it. Take advantage of the reps in preseason. Take advantage of all the reps you can get, especially when some of your other teammates are just as young as you or trying to find themselves back after a long career or trying to find the right home for them in their careers. Some of these receivers are players searching for an identity after being on like 3 or 4 different teams. So this is an opportunity to take advantage, and you're young and fresh. Take advantage of that. So we'll see what you do in preseason and in the training camp. But honestly, small school guys going to the big boys, always a positive, and I'm always rooting for them. So with all that, like I said, this is a long video. I'm trying to be quick, but also not to give disrespect to some of the players that get drafted. The grade I give the 49ers is they got Brock Purdy contract. The offense, a lot of question marks about the veterans' health and their play. But the Niners are still contenders, guys. Let's be real. The Niners are still contenders. A lot of good players here that they got that just feel like they're going to make this team better with younger, fresher legs. So the Niners, to me, are still contenders, and I think we all can agree that, yeah, they're contenders. I believe the NFC West could probably be the most competitive division in the NFL upcoming season, but that depends if the Cardinals, carry their weight. But we'll see. And the one player that I really want us to focus on, I'll be cheating and go with Williams, the 11th overall pick. I'll be cheating and go with him. The biggest reason is because he was so highly evaluated, so highly viewed, that it just felt that, okay, he's going to prove it. He's going to prove it. And we all know Nick Bosa can take over defensive line on his own. So let's see what he does. I mean, for all I know, if he gets 10 plus sacks this year, I think we'll not be surprised, since Bosa gets like 20 on his own. So if the two defensive ends get, 35 sacks combined with two players, I think that'll be a win. So to me, let's see how good Williams really is when he's going on a defense that's already really good. So kind of feels like he doesn't have to put the cape on right away. But he's going to get a cape because he is the 11th overall pick and going to go with another great pick in Bosa. So that is the 49ers. Like I said, they had 11 picks, a lot. So the next team we're going to talk about, and honestly, I'm cheating again. We're going to go talk about the Los Angeles Rams. Why? Because they got 6 picks. They got 6 picks. So that makes it a lot easier. Because Seattle also have 11. That'll be the best for last. Seattle's 11. And they were known as the 12th man for a reason. Because I'm the 12th man. So, until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.